Have you ever looked back at a photo and realized you were in the middle of your breaking point but didn't even know it yet? That's this photo. I don't even remember taking mine. It's dated October 5th, 2021. I've got tears in my eyes. My hand, you can see it's over my mouth. And I'm staring straight into the camera. For what reason, I don't even know. I wasn't at the beginning of losing myself there. I was deep in it, and I was completely unaware. I was highly functioning on the outside while falling completely apart on the inside. And for the years that followed, I lived in this quiet kind of hell. I tried to push through. I performed, I smiled, and I achieved while I was dying on the inside. I wasn't living. I was surviving and existing until I broke completely, until I unraveled, and until I finally admitted that I lost myself. And today I want to talk about something I rarely say out loud, and that's what it feels like to completely lose yourself. And I'm not talking a little lost. Not a phase. I mean the kind of lost where you're looking in the mirror and you don't even know who the hell is staring back at you. You don't recognize the person. And for me, my identity, it wasn't mine. It was wrapped up in all these roles that I played. I was everything to everyone but me. I was the high achieving, successful career woman, a leader, someone who juggled a lot of things, a mom of 3 amazing humans, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a fundraiser, board member, community leader, all of it. Every title, every role. And somewhere along the way, I vanished. Shanda didn't exist outside those labels. And if you were to ask me who I was, I didn't even know. I couldn't answer you. I would answer with a role. And I was chasing perfection, chasing the perfect image, the perfect career, and the perfect life. I chased awards, recognition, and approval, every ounce of validation that I could scrape together because I was a validation-aholic. Because deep down, I believed if everyone else thought that I was enough, that maybe I would finally start believing it myself. But here's the truth. Perfection doesn't work. Approval does not fix the soul, and chasing them slowly kills you from the inside out. So I ran. I ran from grief. I ran from the shame, and I ran from myself. And I ran straight into alcohol. Not for fun. Not to celebrate. I drank to escape, to numb, to quiet the voice screaming that I wasn't enough, that I was failing, and that I would never be. And for years, I lived in that quiet kind of hell, trying my best to survive while completely just falling apart, shattering on the inside. There were days I didn't even brush my teeth. There were so many mornings I couldn't get out of bed. Nights upon nights where I didn't sleep. I couldn't eat because I was drinking. And I couldn't stop crying. I had grief and shame, abandonment and anxiety, and they were hitting me like a freaking freight train. And there were moments, they were dark and they were raw and they were terrifying, where I didn't know if I wanted to keep going. I didn't want to die, but I didn't know how to live either. I was trapped in my own mind, and I was desperate, so desperate for any sort of relief from the chaos and the pain and the internal turmoil. Yet from the inside, I looked fine. I was smiling and performing and saying, I'm okay or I'm good, because I couldn't say I was fine. That's the F word. But underneath it all, I shattered, just shattered. And I was so angry, so furious with myself. Furious for trying to be everything to everyone while silently dying on the inside. And furious that I couldn't keep it together. So mad at myself. And furious I kept drinking. Then one night, I don't even know how it happened, but I whispered a prayer, and it wasn't neat and it wasn't perfect. And it went something like, God, I can't do this on my own. I'm lost. and I don't even know who I am, and I can't breathe. Will you please help me? And it wasn't magic, and it wasn't instant. It was a pause, kind of like a flicker or whisper that said I didn't have to do it alone. And in that whisper, there was tiny surrender, and suddenly the cage that I had built around myself, it started to crumble. And I stopped pretending, and I stopped lying to me, and I admitted I couldn't do it alone and that I needed people. I went to therapy, and I journaled, and I prayed, and I screamed into pillows, and I broke things, and I cried like I'd never cried before, and I sat in silence for the first time. And I slowly started to listen. I started hearing my own voice again. Not the voice of perfection, not the voice of approval, not the voice that had played all those roles. My voice, Shanda's voice. And it was faint, and it was messy, and it was jagged, and sometimes I would scream at myself, but it was real. And here's the rawest truth. That woman who chased the perfection, the approval, the validation, she wasn't broken. She was hurting, trying to survive and trying to earn love and worth that she already had. I just didn't know it. And the hardest truth, you can't survive like that. You can't even live like that. So, thankfully, I started to rebuild. And it's been messy and slow and ugly, and there's been setbacks, but it's real. Healing, it's not Instagram pretty. It's crawling through the darkness with your tears in your eyes, and your hands are shaking. And it's failing and trying again, and it's surrendering, and it's screaming, and it's whispering, and it's the prayers, and it's the learning to breathe. When everything in your body says that you can't, you still do it. And here's the miracle in the mess. Even in the broken, the jagged, the chaotic parts of myself, there was beauty. There was wonder. There was grace I'd been too afraid to see. Life isn't about being polished or perfect. It's about showing up for yourself, fully, unapologetically, and beautifully. It's about sitting in the mess and listening to your own voice. It's about embracing the grace that quietly shows up in the chaos. And it's taught me some of my most important lessons. That your worth is intrinsic. It's not performance-based. You do not need awards, approval, or perfection to be enough. And to stop running from yourself. To stop numbing. To stop the perfectionism and the people-pleasing, because those things, they only delay your freedom. And stillness is where the truth emerges. Setting with your emotions, even the painful ones, and listening, that's where the healing starts. And healing's messy, but it's so worth it. Therapy, journaling, and prayer, all these things help you reclaim your life. And surrender opens the door to peace. Faith, trust, and letting go of control, they can actually help you breathe again. And sometimes you have to lose yourself completely to find yourself. But that can be the doorway to your real identity. It has been for me. So if you're standing in your own hell right now, in that place where everything feels lost, please hear me. This isn't the end of your story. You will not stay buried in the breaking. You will rise. You're going to rise from it. You're going to be softer, stronger, freer. Because grace doesn't just meet you in the chaos. It rebuilds you there. It rebuilds you there. And that's what being anchored really means. It's finding the peace in the middle of the storm, not after it. You see, I walked through hell, and I've made it out alive. And I'm not polished, and I'm not perfect, but I'm anchored. And now I know that I don't have to find myself by escaping the storm. You find yourself by standing in it and realizing the strength that's been inside you all along. That's where peace begins. That's where the freedom lives. And that's where you rise. And my friend, you will rise. I promise you, you will rise. This is my story, but it's not about me. It's the story I don't want others to have to walk. It's why I speak, it's why I write, and it's why I share the hard parts. Because if my breaking can become someone else's breakthrough, oh, it's all worth it. If you made it this far, thanks for hanging in there with me, and thanks for following along on my journey. If this hit you and you need help, just reach out. I'm a message away. Or if you know someone who's going through their own storm and their own battles, feel free to share this with them. Friend, you're going to make it. You are loved. You are worthy. And I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.